Hello there, my name is PolishLynx and welcome to The Letter horror visual novel. Alright, hopefully I will not fail with the clicking because my left button on the mouse kinda stopped working. I mean, it works like 1 out of 15 times. So I switched the bindings of the keys, and I'm going to be using the right key. Hopefully I will not fail this. Okay, when I wake, whiskey is already gone. Yes. A bottle of painkillers and a note on the table are the only evidence that I wasn't alone last night. Thanks for the tea, Marianne. Whiskey. Or maybe it's Mazian. Not sure. Probably Marianne, but who knows. I don't even question where these are from or just how he knew my real name. I'm just grateful for something to help with the hangover. Might as well. Wait. Marianne and Whiskey went back to her condo after having one too many drinks. However, Marianne changed her mind about the one-night stand and ended up sharing tea with him instead. The next morning, the stranger left nothing but a note of a bottle of painkillers. I mean, we know about Luke already, right? So, yeah, I mean, Marianne doesn't know. But if you think about it, at least he actually acted in a proper manner. I mean, she said no, he's been alright, but give me some tea at least, right? Alright, I have a job to do. So he really acted like a proper person. I'm glad. It isn't often that I think about drinking on the job. But after meeting with the Wrights yesterday, really makes me want to... Wait, what? Already yesterday? Okay, my self-imposed rules. Because first off, fucking damn Whiskey was fucking damn Mr. Wright. And to top it all off, they had somehow forgotten to inform me that they didn't own the Emerald Mansion yet when they hired me. What? What sort of person does that?
Rich people.
Yeah. What a bunch of bastards. I could do nothing but twiddle my thumbs at this. However, twiddle my thumbs and wait for the go signal. It's not like I can accept other smaller projects. This is a big job and I should be ready to start on it at any time. Not to mention that my PA practically begged me to be patient and wait this out. It was a hard decision to agree, but I did so in the end. Besides, I'm doing this for the Ermengarde Mansion, not for anything or anyone else. What do you mean by that? What do you mean you are doing this for the Ermengarde Mansion? I don't understand, but maybe it's just your architect talking. I'd have a headache whatever I do anyway. I'd go to the pub again, but seeing what happened a few days ago, I'd rather not end up in bed with another potential client. And it might be a huge leap in logic, but the library is the next best thing after the pub. I have to go there anyway. I need more books for that. What? Plus, I also need to return the ones I borrowed last time. Wait, what? What? Finding a new book or two to read for myself while I have nothing to do isn't such a bad idea either. So on a Saturday morning, I find myself going to the only library in Luxembourg to hopefully cool off. After returning an Erzulia and poetry book of Henry of Podebrady. I think that's in Czech. I might be mistaken, but I think it's Czech. I asked the librarian about the several titles on my list, for I don't have much luck on that front. So technically Podebrady might also be like Slovakia. But I would say it's in... Yeah, okay. It's in Czech. Got it. Ha, I'm a genius. I don't know how I remember that this city is over there, but whatever, right? Dialogue with Death has already been snatched, and she bluntly said that she'd not keep our mathematical universe for someone who didn't return books on time. I make headway at least when I ask about Siege and Rendition of Havana by Jacobo de Pezuela. If you count her starting and pointing at the history section as headway, that is. The history section is devoid of any other except for myself and the redhead foe. I'd wager a guess that Red's just passing by to get to the classical literature section. I don't know why you assume that, but whatever. So many books, so little time. Sky, how do I not know that? I get you, girl. I get you. So many games, so little time. So many visual novels, so little time. Wait, did I say so many games, so many time? That doesn't make any sense. So little time. So many anime, so little time. So many manga, light novels, and so little time. Anyway, scanning the books and seeing so many wonderful titles give me a great pleasure. And that's when I spot it.
Hello, sailor. Why don't you come to Mama?
I don't think you should be saying that out loud. History of Lexburn Architecture, first edition. It's not the naval book I was looking for. No, it's even better. What? The newly acquired History of Lexburn Architecture. First edition too? I know I just have to get it. I have been waiting to get my hands on the book for so long. The fact that there is only one copy proves to be a problem when Red reaches out for it at the same time as I do.
I think I had this first, miss.
I can only stare her down when she refuses to let go of the book. God damn it. Refusing to let go of it as well, I raise a brow at her in hopes that the fact that I was significantly taller than her would intimidate the girl. Even then she refused with a rebellious look.
This isn't exactly light reading, miss. I mean, do you even know which architect was at the forefront of 18th century Irish architecture?
A bit. She blinks and I can't help the smirk on my face, which is wiped off when she opens her mouth.
Edward Lovett Pearce, who established the Palladian style through his work with Castletown House and the Irish Houses of Parliament.
Whoa, okay, didn't expect that.
This bridge was destroyed in this year to delay French troops while under the regency of Mary of Guise.
This is not what I was expecting. Let's be honest, how many people know these history facts? Aside from me, anyway.
Going right to the obscure ones, aren't you? Easy enough. Tullybody Old Bridge in Clackmannanshire, Scotland, on the January of 1560, if we want to be specific.
Suddenly it's a game where we throw these history questions and facts at each other, back and forth, in hushed tones, unless we want to be thrown out of the library. After a while, it goes from some strange competition into the strange but friendly banter, if it could be called that. But as fun as this, the exchange soon slows down till we're grinning at how old this whole scene is.
Marianne McCulloch, my desire for potatoes doesn't quite match what the stereotypes suggest.
Rebecca Gales, the Scots' supposed hatred for the English wasn't enough to stop me from teaching their little spawns.
By then we had forgotten about our little tug of war, although she still holds the book in her hands. I had let go of it without realizing when she answered my first question.
History teacher, then?
Got it in one.
No wonder you gave me a run for my money. Now, if we're talking about architecture, I'd blow you out of the water. You're from where? Luxburn Uni?
Oh no, just St. Goretti's.
That's why Zachary knew the uniform, maybe. I mean, I would assume that's the reason for it. Ah yeah, Saint Goretti. You'd think a school would choose a more appropriate saint to name themselves after, especially when they have very young students. Wait, more appropriate saint. Alright, I'm curious. Let's see how much of a piece of garbage he was. Oh, it was a girl? I mean, a girl, a woman. Are you kidding me? This is ridiculous. Seriously, what the hell is wrong with some people? Alright, so listen to this. You can Google it yourself, but whatever. Where is it? She died at the age of 11 when she tried to defend, I think, herself. Wait, what? That doesn't make any sense what they wrote here. Wait, what? Okay, this doesn't make any sense, man. Alright, alright. Can I have not the Polish information? Because whoever wrote this, it doesn't make any sense what they wrote. They wrote that she died while trying to protect herself from being not killed, but you know what, done by some 20-year-old guy. And later, when he was about to die, she, you know, she basically said, fine. I agree. I don't have anything against you, and that doesn't make any sense to me. And again, quick facts. Alright, some guy made advances to her. When she refused to submit to him, he stabbed her 14 times. What? Oh, that's how it is. Alright, so basically, whoever wrote this for Polish Wikipedia is a freaking idiot. Thank you very much. So basically, there was some guy, he wanted to make some advance on her, she refused, he stabbed her 14 times, which is ridiculous. She died, but she forgave him, and then, even though he was arrested, jailed for 27 years, and then he had to go to her mother of that, you know, Maria Goretti, and asked her for forgiveness, and she forgave him, and then he went to monastery and so on. Alright, seriously, whoever wrote this for Polish Wikipedia should get his ass kicked, because they technically did not say anything that was nicely explained in the English version. That's why I mostly go to the English one. Anyway, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say what. I mean, I wouldn't say that's a wrong person to choose as a saint to the name, but okay.
And I'm guessing you're an architect, if you're so confident about the subject.
No.
Interior designer, Miss Gales.
But if we look at your profile, occupation, but former architect, and you have Bachelor of Arts in Architecture. Let's not forget this as well.
Please, just call me Rebecca. You aren't one of my students, are you?
I mean, I'm sorry, Marianne, but well, she would need to be much younger to be your student.
Marianne, then.
I could have said that I was an architect, but there's no point explaining why I wasn't one anymore. Explain. Why not?
So, I've never seen you before. I'd like to think I've met every history aficionado in town.
I blame the rock I've been hiding under, of course. That, and I'm usually only here on the weekdays if time allows. Work often has me meeting clients on the weekends.
That must be interesting work.
It allows for some creative freedom, sure.
Oh yeah, that's something I'm missing at my work.
But it's like working with children sometimes. Though you probably have it harder working with actual children. The hardest part is convincing them that your idea is their idea.
Ouch!
That sounds exciting.
Yeah, very. You can hear it in your voice.
It is!
But isn't that true for any workplace, though? We just cross our fingers and hope there aren't any man-children in charge of important things. Any big projects right now? I can't imagine that interior designing is a frequent thing.
I'm working on the Ermengarde mansion. Lucky me. That mansion. Intach. Wonderful. Breathtaking. I can't wait to start in it.
In before she changes her mind.
Now that is beautiful architecture.
A pause. It looks like she wants to say something with my mention of the house. I'm not surprised. That place is certainly popular with locals, especially with the urban legends attached to it. In the next second though, she seems to think better of it and drops what she's about to say.
So, do you have a portfolio or anything I can take a look at? I'd love to see your designs. Maybe you have some on a tablet? I've met some designers before, and they're always going crazy over these virtual room apps or another.
A tablet? Please. Callicrates didn't need those silly iTabs when he built the Parthenon. I certainly don't need one to design a house.
I like her even more now. The computer back at my place is all I have. Why should I buy such an expensive gadget that will just get outdated within the year? When what I have is just as functional. My god, she's awesome. She knows what she's talking about. The traditional ways had a far more personal touch in my opinion, not to mention those smartphones are awful tools of procrastination. I can't even count on one hand the number of people I see going outside, only to have their eyes glued to the things. And fuck those touch screens! There are even things that make tapping what should have been a simple task harder. Thank you, god damn it! That's so true! I mean, come on, the freaking keyboards were freaking easier. I mean, you had freaking 9 buttons to use. I know you had to click 3 times, but I could make this without even freaking looking at the screen. And on the touch screen, I'm like, writing, god damn it, I wrote it not correctly because somehow I touched the letter that is next to it 5 times. I agree with her. Touchscreens suck.
I do have an online portfolio if you'd like. I can...
Speaking or thinking of that, this seems to get summoned it because before I can even carry on, Rebecca's tension wanes as she pulls out her mobile. For what I can also miss call, she gives me an apology look before she's standing up and excusing herself. Of further ales, she goes for some privacy. I do my best to do it to her as well, trying to tune her out.
Well, is something wrong? Lunch at the coffee house? Sure, I can make it. I'm not too far, I can be there in 10.
But with how quiet the surrounding is, she can't blame me if I ever hear snippets of her conversation. When she turns with a sheepish look on her face, I know that our friendly jaunt has to be cut short.
Sorry, I have to go and meet with some friends.
It's fine. Totally fine. No need to even apologize.
About the book.
Her embarrassment increases twofold when she realizes she's still holding on to the history of Logsborn architecture. I don't give her time to think about it as I put a hand up and shake my head. Fishing out a pen and paper from my bag along with one of my business cards, I hand them over to her.
You know, I'm busy with work, so I might not even be able to take a peek at it anytime soon. You can go ahead and have it. But you'll have to ring me up when you're returning it just so I can snag it right away. Deal?
She makes quick work, penning her number down and handing it back to me with a grin.
Deal. Just message me during school hours, of course. You have a good day then.
You too.
With Rebecca gone, I'm left alone studying the history section. Of my original plans were simply to sit down and read a good book. Our little pop quiz, if you could call that, made the time pass without any of us even realizing it. It was fun, and I do believe I made a new friend. Good job, Marianne! I mean, getting back to the touch screens. They are fine when you browse something or whatever, right? This is okay. But for writing, no. It's just plain terrible. Honestly, the only touchscreen that works for me is on PS Vita. Somehow it's the only one I'm capable to use when writing something, which surprised me, but it really is the only one. With mobile phones, it just doesn't work for me at all. Anyway, even with the talk of lunch cover, I don't feel like grabbing a bite to eat. There are still other books to be read here, and I hope to find something that will help me while I work with the rights. Something like how to deal with assholes professionally 101, just in case. Come on, Hannah is not that bad. I've dealt with a lot of... and, well, apparently Luke isn't that terrible as well, for there are events that suggest he is actually. Anyway, I've dealt with a lot of UPT, snooty and rich clients before, but it's still better to be safe than sorry. Because Luke Wright just takes the fucking cake, and he probably managed to eat it too. It seems the work is conspiring to keep me from my me time. As my mobile vibrates in my pockets, the moment I find something from the shelves of the classical literature section.
Marianne McCulloch, Charlie Rose Design speaking.
PRC, Miss Cooper.
Rose Cooper here, Miss McCullough. I hope I didn't catch you at a bad time or anything, but I just wanted to check in and tell you that we've got the clear to hand over the documents. Madam Wright told us that we should forward the floor plans to you.
Already, how'd they go through the process so fast? Surely there is so many red tape to even acquire the forms to the transferring of rights. No matter how rich the rights are, it shouldn't be this quick, right?
So, if I can just have your email, I'll be sending them your way.
I'd actually like a physical copy of the floor plans.
Oh, I suppose that's fine. I'm not at the office right now, but I can inform Miss Santos of your request.
I'll make sure to drop by the office after lunch if that's fine.
Not a problem. Right. Well, cheers.
Right. Cheers.
Right, cheers. I don't know, I just don't. Is there some sort of deeper miscommunication when we last met? These things take time. It's been, what, a day? Less than that even. There isn't even point in trying to make sense of these people who seem to be larger than life. Well, okay, journal. 22nd. Okay, I guess this is... Marianne befriended Rebecca Davis during a visit to the library. Marianne received a call from Rose Cooper afterwards informing that the Ermengarde Mansion's floor plans were ready to pick up at their office. Alright, as it looks I'm on the clock to start today, I might as well eat. Grabbing some fish and chips from one of the street food stalls, I find a table to spend time with a copy of Marquis de Sade, The Crime of Love, since Rebecca left with the book I wanted. I read this one before, along with the rest of his works. This would be the 18th time, in fact. Why are you doing this to yourself? But it's always nice to read through it again, when I don't have the time to enjoy something new. Besides, when you're dealing with people so filthy that they just end up plain filthy, you need the good old Marquis sound advice.
La blessure se trouvant sans aucune sorte de conséquence.
Right, now translate this to normal language. The wound being without any consequence. Alright. Of course, it's folly to think that things have no consequence when everything actually does. Real Realty Corporation's Luxburn branch isn't too far off from the city center. Just a few blocks. Oh shit, I didn't want to click C. I told you. That would be problematic. Where is the backlog? From the city center, just a few blocks away, and I can easily eat and walk. Something my friend actually can't do. I don't know. I mean, whenever he eats or drinks, he can't walk. He has to stop in one place, chew his stuff, and then walk further. This is ridiculous. I seriously don't understand how he's able to operate like this. But whatever. I rather... Sorry I said it, but... Wait, he doesn't watch my videos. He doesn't even know I have YouTube. Whatever. I rather use this time to rest before I go into a flurry of activity. No doubt there will be so much to do once we get hands-on with the mission.
Still a lot better than working on another condo, at least.
Huh. Surely, no matter how much BRC and the old owners put into the restoration and preservation of the place, and big repairs would be superficial at most. I am quite certain that in their haste to sell the property, they did it rushed up. It isn't an infrequent thing to do despite how it's frowned upon. Wait, now that I think about it, this is a hospital over here. Like the tallest building. I didn't, notice that before. There will be a lot of hidden issues that I will need to weed out, and I have to make sure I find every single one of them, especially the more serious damages. Oh, you will find one super serious, and it will be hard for you to deal with that. Structural integrity is definitely on top of the list we'll have to consider. The building might look sturdy, but its centuries old, let alone. Will likely pose a few problems here and there, but put limitation on what we can do. Besides, despite how much I detest these rich snobs, they can pay rather handsomely, so long as I do an excellent job and do more than necessary. Those two things always made sure that referrals keep coming. I don't even have to hunt down projects for myself. When I do go up to BRC's office, I can't help but stop and stare when I enter the building. With the lunch hour closing, employees should have been back already, if they still aren't filtering through the doors. I get that it's a Saturday, that people probably feel tired and lazy to be working on a weekend, but they're still on the clock and not booming about wasting time on extended lunch breaks and cigarette sessions. The office is spacious, as it is with these big corporations. Each person is given their little space of what's usually a 2 by 2 meter cubicle. And honestly, if I were to work in some place, like doing some whatever documents and such, I wouldn't mind something like that, because what would bother me is, like, let's say one room, let's say 8 people in that room, and everyone can see what you're doing on your screen. It freaking would bother me. And I'm not saying that I'm not doing the job there. It just always pissed me off when someone looked at the monitor when I was working on something. Like, really, no, I just couldn't. Like, my concentration was completely drifting off when that happened, and yeah. Anyway, so yeah, the cubicle and no one can see what you do, something for me. There's a lot more empty chairs than there are actual people working at their desks. It reminds me far too much of my last day at PolishLynx projects, during the massive layoffs due to the Irish economic crisis. Okay, so it was in Ireland, and you were named PolishLynx? Why does it have, again, a little bit of a Czech name? Anyway, but it isn't just that fault. Everything is as quiet as a grave. It's as if these people are merely ghosts. Wait, it's 22nd, right? This is not the day that something appeared here, right? Oh, okay, she saw something there. Got it. Yeah. Alright. Speaking of ghosts, Santos comes in through the door, looking as if she just seen one. She looks at me, wide-eyed like a deer caught in the headlights, ready to bolt at any moment. I'd ask out of concern, but I feel it's not my position to do so. What if it's something personal? Yeah, I'd simply be overstepping my boundaries. Really, it's none of my business.
I presume that Miss Cooper told you why I'm here, Miss Santos?
Huh? Oh, yeah. Sorry, I just got back from lunch, you know? But it won't take too long, don't worry.
Of course it won't. This whole project has established itself to be a matter done in haste. I do hope it doesn't mean that people are being careless in their duties.
She flinches and looks like she doesn't quite know how to respond to that. Thankfully, instead of opening her mouth, she leads the way towards her station, goes to fetch the floor plans. It won't take too long, as she said, but it does take a bit. Time spent to compose herself, most likely.
You know, we usually just email these things.
I prefer the real thing.
You know what? Truly, Marianne is a great person. I mean, she has great interests, and she doesn't like tablets, and also freaking touch screens. Plus, she prefers the documents to be as documents and not, you know, the freaking files on computer. I know, it's a bit old-fashioned, but I prefer that, kind of like that as well. I mean, if you have one screen, it really is a bother, because if you have two screens, I mean, it's acceptable to have this, in the file, because, you know, on one screen you do something, on the other you can look and, you know, correct yourself. It really is that better that way. So, if you have one screen, I guess having something as, you know, physical document is better. For work, at least. Anyway, not that you would know. You probably have your nose stuck in your smartphone when you're not working, and even when you should be working, playing those mindless addictive games. I definitely wish Chris would stop playing that bad cat thingy during work hours too. What's a bad cat?
I know what you mean. Digital painting is nice, but nothing beats the smell of real paint.
Ha! In your face, Marianne! You shouldn't be judging like that.
Not that I go and smell paint like a crazy person, but, you know, the real thing is different.
Wait, what?
Yes, nothing is quite like the real thing.
Checking out the floor plans, I see that I'll have a lot going for me. Now I know how Ray felt when he found the Central Park West building floor plans from that one movie. And you know what? I am finally glad. I've been waiting for this. Finally, I get to see how big this freaking mansion is. Alright, so ground floor. We have entrance, porch and entrance here, foyer. To the left, dining hall and kitchen. Gallery here, quarters and hall. Here you go, parlor, restroom, I think. Music room, hall, and the basement. Basement. Okay. But in the kitchen also you have that freaking wine area, right? That is downstairs, kind of. Alright. Second floor. Balcony. When you go to the left, hallway. Master's bedroom, balcony, quarters, conference room, I think, and I really can't read what's in between quarters and the conference room. And to the right, hallway is bedroom, balcony, study room, theater, okay, and two attics, both of which contains basically like little bedrooms. And one of them is super creepy. Okay. This is why I became an architect in the first place. I kind of wanted to be an architect at some point, but in the end I didn't go after that. Anyway, Jacobean style at its finest. It's a thing of beauty. Look at these gorgeous rooms. The delicate harmony between empty spaces. Alright, I don't see that. And speaking of empty spaces, there's something rather odd about these ones.
I feel a bit silly saying it out loud because I've never lived in a big house, let alone a mansion. But during the tour, I had the distinct impression that the rooms were bigger. Maybe the scale is wrong? It's not much of a problem, and it is an old house.
There had been little details here and there that I would have like to address during the open house too. But it was all forgotten in the wake of Miss Santos' incident and the trouble with ownership. The wine cellar is going to be a problem. I shudder think what sort of repairs they did to the place. There might have been things that were swept under the rug, pushed to the dark corner of the rooms, and hidden away in bars. Water damage could have been covered up. There had been floods due to heavy rains in the West England just last year, after all. And if there is any sort of damage to the house's foundation, that's going to be a lot of work. I was not able to look at the attic as well. Oh, you better not go there, girl. For all I know, a whole family of vermin could have made their nest there. Working with pest control is always the worst. What you need there is ghostbusters, not pest control. The sheer size of this place is staggering, even if I just say it was a lot smaller than I thought. I might just be biting off more than I can chew, but who doesn't like a good challenge? Me? First things first, I'll have to...
So, do you want a coffee? The one from the staff room is pretty decent.
There's really no need. I'm sure you have rules against it.
Rules against bringing someone coffee? That's ridiculous. And even if there were regulations against it, nobody's really here to tell Sir John. I've already brought 2 mugs, and I'm not going to drink them on my own. Come on.
Yeah! I have to stamp down my annoyance at being distracted. Seeing the girl, the young woman, though, it looks like she has a lot on her mind. If bubbling is her way of dealing with stray thoughts, I'm not really the one she should be bubbling to. You have something to say? I don't have time for this. Alright, sorry, but the second option is so freaking rude and so far kind of not being rude, but following PolishLynx's rules, being super good to people. Let me do good things in the game. I mean, at least if you consider survival there, it led to that. Even though I went nuts in one situation and, you know, tried the hero mode, but I returned. I freaking returned to have it the way I wanted to. So now I will... Yeah, you have something to say? I give her time to speak up. Oh. Whoa! I maxed out! Oh my god. Isabella and Marianne can date now, I think. Or something like that. But when she just stares, I clear my throat.
Yes? You have something to say?
As embarrassment creeps up on her face, I snatch one of the coffees from her and take a sip. Too hot.
Just thinking and speaking off the record, it must be fun what you do. You go to people's houses and you make them, well, pretty. You're sharing your art with them.
It's a little bit more complex than that. But if you put it that way, it is fun. I wouldn't have done it for 7 years if it wasn't a little bit fun, I guess.
These big clients always have paintings in their homes. Do you have a supplier for art pieces?
I didn't expect to hear such a question from her, seeing how well she handled herself yesterday. In doubt then why she was assigned to an important sale like the Ermengarde mission despite a little accident she had. Now she just looks too young, too nervous and unsure of herself, although her enthusiasm must make up for that in spades. I don't know why I read this like that. In fact, I wouldn't have believed it if she had introduced herself the way she is at the moment. I like how she's actually biting her lip a little bit now. While watching her now, she actually looks like she should still be in college. Acts a bit like it too, when I think about it. I thought she was a teen slumming it out in the mansion when I first saw her there, lying on the ground. Surprise, surprise, she turned out to be one of the estate agents handling the property.
The clients usually support artists of their own choice. If they don't, I'm always happy to refer those that I know.
That's cool.
They're very picky. I don't think a hobbyist will have an easy time getting their work sold.
Hey, I'll have you know I was a student of the fine arts.
And yet, here you are, selling property. Maybe you weren't a very fine student of the arts.
What would you say? Maybe I took that a bit far. She bites her cheek and it looks like she's very holding herself back.
It's not like I had a choice.
She mutters it under breath. I barely even hear it. But the hurt is there. And it makes one wonder what brought it on. Although it is understandable if her reasons what I think it is, very few people make it big in the art world. I can see why she'd be upset about it with that enthusiasm. I didn't have a choice when I left Ireland. It was that, or years of unemployment. The recession and the toll it took in the construction industry was out of anyone's control. I don't know what choice she wasn't able to make, whether it was about her being at art school or something else. But the world isn't a fair place, unfortunately. and the sooner she accepted, the better. Still, with that forlorn look on her face, I can't help but sigh. The girl reminds me far too much of myself when I was younger.
Well, if you're thinking of commissioning your paintings, I'll have to see your work first.
Oh, it's not... I didn't mean it like that. I don't have any paintings.
Really? You sounded a lot like you still did art or want to. Now I'm starting to worry that you might dislike the smell of paint.
I'm not a paint huffer, sheesh. I just mean I don't make much anymore. I don't really have the time for it. The tools and materials aren't exactly cheap either.
Everything has a price. It sounds like you're making excuses for something you're presumably passionate about. If you really want to practice art, a little out of your wallet isn't much.
It's not that simple.
It's not? Life's simple. People just like to make it complex.
You don't know anything.
Speaking off the record, I have some advice for you, kid. Either go for what you want, or stop thinking about it when you have something else. That is unless you enjoy making yourself miserable, then by all means.
You know, if you wanted to look at the floor plans without me bothering you, you could have just said so.
Would you have left me alone?
We'll never know now, will we?
Wait. Didn't I max her out? What the hell? A strained air settles in the room afterwards. But honestly, Marianne really acted not nicely to her. Marianne visited BRC to pick up the floor plans. She was by Isabel Santos, and the two shared a brief talk about art, which ended with Marianne leaving a piece of advice to Isabella. Yeah, well, she could have freaking said it nicer. It doesn't help that she doesn't immediately leave as she has said, lingering awkwardly by the door with that downcast expression. It's clear there is more she means to say, perhaps even defend herself and her choices in life. Or is she expecting me to dish out more of that advice? It's an awkward affair, and I choose to hightail out of the reality office as quick as I can. Alright. Let's end the episode here. Well, she doesn't know anything, so yeah. I mean, I understand why Isabella basically has no money, because, well, we basically know what she spends that money for, okay? And it's a matter of life. But, well, basically it's a matter that you have to spend money on. Really. When it comes to family, you always would do that, I guess. Unless you are a complete and utter disgrace and a piece of garbage. But yeah, what she does is great, and yeah. Anywho, I think despite Marianne loving everything, my rate for her dropped a little bit. So yeah, and I think, I guess Isabella will continue to be my favorite character so far. We'll see. Anywho, besides, I bet that Isabella would also like video games and freaking anime. So I think she's the person. She has the personality to be like that as well, because Marianne is more like of hiding that. For technically her friends know about it, so she's not hiding it too much, I guess. Anywho, let's now straight to that. Let's end the episode. We'll continue this tomorrow. For now, hope you enjoyed it. Hope to see you in the next one. And yes, this building really is a hospital. Bye bye.